No, it wasn't working. I just gave you a long dissertation, Andressa, on this area of Sydney. We're in what's known as Darlinghurst, one of the oldest areas of Sydney, just east of the city. I used to live here when I started economics at University of New South Wales in Sydney in 1976. I lived here. In fact, when I started law, I was doing economics and law then, 2 degrees. And it became very gay, extremely gay. Now a lot of the gays have moved out elsewhere. They've made money and gone to pricier suburbs, and it's a bit of everything. And what was I saying in the video that didn't record was that lockout laws came into force a few years back with the New South Wales government, and that means that any bar in the lockout area, and Darlinghurst is in it, can't sell alcohol after 1:30, I think it is, and have to close down at 4. Whereas before, because of the nature of the clubs, like many cities in the world, if there were still clients there, they could stay open to 8 in the morning. And I used to come to ARC fairly regularly, and I'd be here to 8 in the morning before I left. Walked home, got coffee and a bit of breakfast, got the train home. Catherine would just stare at me. "You've been fucking out all night again?" "Yeah." "What does the man do when he's got free time?" So here's the Flinders Hotel. There's a lot of, this would have been an old hotel too, because this is a very old area of Sydney. But it's been renovated there's another hotel up there that's very popular. So lots of those terraces again that I sent you the photograph before. The terrace I lived in was over there. In fact, I lived in 2. One down there in Darlinghurst in 1976 when I started law with a lot of students, including a couple of law students. Didn't like them very much. Too boysy. I'm too femme male for them. And another nice terrace in Paddington, which is an old convict area of the city, built by the convicts. And it was much pricier, much nicer, nice landlord, and 2 women a bit older than me, who were much better to live with than the young blokes from my hometown. Now, why were there army people in Paddington to build, I think I said build the terrace houses? I might say convicts, it was actually, I think it was the army one. Because Victoria Barracks up there, and I've used the term Victoria twice now in my messages to you this evening. Why Victoria? Because Victoria was not only the Queen of England from about 1834 to, I think it was 1901 when she died. She was, at some point in that, she became the Empress of the Empire. Because by that stage, Britain, England's part of Britain, so is Scotland, so is Ireland, Wales, became an empire, a global empire, upon which the sun never set. So why the poor old Portuguese colony, or former Portuguese colony of Brazil, the former Spanish colony of Argentina and the others throughout South America, languished. Places like, well, the United States, of course, they were the first to break free, but they went streets ahead. Different system of government, and of course the United States is naturally wealthy. So they did well. Australia did fairly well on the back of grazing and whatnot. We're pretty well endowed that way, but we're much smaller population-wise and in terms of wealth than the United States. And New Zealand's tiny. South Africa, the big one was India. That was a jewel in the British crown. It didn't get independence from Britain until 1947 after the war. So that's really when the empire, and as we knew it, the Commonwealth broke down. And when I was at school, we still called it the empire till about halfway through my school. And in June, I think it was, we used to have Empire Night, when we were all allowed to let off firecrackers in the area outside our homes on the street. And that was good. It was worth having Empire just for that, if nothing else. So oh no, hold on, because my club, ARC, should be just across there. But I see no people. No. So, it's closed, I can see the doors. But I'll go over there and give you a video of the outside. It's closed because it's early Wednesday morning, a working week, and people don't come out then. So now they're not coming out here much on the weekend, which they used to be in halls, like I said. See the little side streets? They date back to, which is very early days for Australia, the 18th century. That's why they built like that. They built them like that in London and Portugal. I went to Portugal on my trip before I went to South America. I liked it. Here we are, look at these doors. Metal doors like a prison to keep people out. So here we are. It is an offence to remain within a 50-metre vicinity of these premises if you've been refused admission or been turned out due to intoxication or behaviour which is violent, quarrelsome or disorderly. $550 on the spot. The good old New South Wales Police. Well, that's pretty intimidating. And even ARC put out a sign that says similar things. They mentioned intoxication and violence. On neither of them do they mention drugs. That's the elephant in the room. I know for a fact that drugs are sold in the toilets of that club, as is sex provided to those who are interested from transsexual, who are very in there. They're really up themselves because they think they're so beautiful. They're probably on drugs, which they're obviously using uppers, which make them arrogant. And they just walk past you with their heads up in the air. Sure, trannies are fine, but be friendly. Here's the, no, you can't see. That's about the only outside area ARC. I've spent many smoking break there. That's the side path or side alleyway where you go to smoke because you can't smoke inside. And it's really crowded, and the people, people are a lot younger than me, but that doesn't make them rude and arrogant. But people in there are, and they're just doing so silly things. So this is Taylor Square, a very famous area of Sydney. Now the gay Mardi Gras, gay and lesbian Mardi Gras, comes up that street, Oxford Street, and goes down here to the entertainment area to finish. And this is crowded up with lots of people. There's grandstands put up, and people even pay to get on the balconies of buildings down there. And when I lived in Paddington in Terrace, not Paddington, Darlinghurst in the Terrace, was just down there. So I know this area very well. I used to drive taxis here when I was a university student in the 1970s. Now I've got an interesting thing to tell you, so I'll keep you on, though you probably won't watch all this video. It's 7 minutes long so far. What I was going to check, I've forgotten. Anyway, I would. I'll keep going, maybe it'll come back to you. Kinsella's is an old funeral parlour. It's long been a nightclub and restaurant. I'll just let you look. Oh, look at that. We're about 10 kilometres from the sea, the Pacific Ocean, which is much better ocean than your Atlantic Ocean. I was thinking earlier that you and your family should all move to Australia so you can be on the Pacific Ocean and piss that bloody Atlantic Ocean off. That's what you should do. But I'm sure you won't, because you don't want to come to an English-speaking country. It's nothing like your home. That food joint's always been open at this time for years. The nightclub up there. See how this used to be really busy. What time is it? About 2 o'clock? No, it's deserted. It's got an empty feel about it. That's why you don't come here anymore. Convenience shoppers everywhere. Here's the club that's still going. I think I've been there, not much of a place. This is the famous Stonewall. It's now a club like that, as you can see. It's usually much busier than that, it's mostly empty. But it was the first gay club up here on Oxford Street in the 1970s. And gay men who were politically militant then were very brave, because they had a march in 1978 and they called it Stonewall after that pub. Stonewall and that pub, I think, is named after a similar club in the United States, I think in New York. And I think the Stonewall, I think the police charged and arrested a lot of gay men at the Stonewall demonstration earlier in the 1970s, because gay liberation started in the United States before it started here. I'd be interested for you to tell me the history in Brazil, because from my impression, I haven't read it on it, but just had an impression that things are pretty liberal for gay man and lesbian, or I don't know about lesbian women, but gay men in Brazil. Maybe not so much liberal, but they've been tolerated for many decades as part of your culture. So I'd be interested to know if that's true and whether it's legal now for gay men to have consensual sex, and whether it's legal for lesbian women to have consensual sex. Because often in many countries, homosexuality is recognised, either prohibited or allowed under the law, but lesbianism isn't. because of the male chauvinism that women can't have sex together because they miss, one of them at least misses a penis, which of course is crap. You and I and many other people know that women can have very erotic sex together by working their clitorises or anything they want to. That's a very good, it doesn't look like it now, the Columbia bar. There you are, close to you, Columbia. Very good bar, and the upstairs dance floor is great. And I think I've sent you the video where I'm dressed in red stockings, that red and black outfit, with straps over the shoulders, and very high black leather boots with high heels. Well, that's what in part I was wearing tonight. And would you believe, when I took the pictures for you for the first round of pictures, the high heel was still there. And while I was walking around in it, and I hadn't worn them since I went there 5 years ago, so they're really tight and uncomfortable, as they were originally anyway. One of the heels broke off. I almost fell over because they're very hard to stand in, as you'd know from wearing stuff like that. You have to lean backwards. I almost fell over. The back heel went. I said, that's the end of that. I'll have to wear my new Aquila boots, which are down there. Ankle high, not such big heels, much safer and much nicer. Those high things are pretty stupid. So there you go. Oxford Street finishes about 2 blocks down, and then I'm in the city. Being the time it is, about 1:30, trains won't be going. Probably, well, there'll be buses going, but they'll be few and infrequent in between. In fact, I was just then thinking I'll have to get a bus or a taxi to my old home suburb, Ashfield, which is much further out than where I live now, in Zetland. But there'll be no trains or buses there. Another thing is, by walking down Oxford Street on this side, see all the cabs that just, oh, you can't, whole group of taxis just went down there. I'm heading the wrong way. I've got to cross over and head, look, pretty well back the way I came, up there, and then turn right down South Darling Street. I'll be able to get cabs all right, but I've got to be on the right side of the road. So Rosa says, over and out, have a lovely, what will it be? You're still, I think you're still on Wednesday, and we're in Thursday in, where are we? September, your birth month. Oh, 11th. I'm going to send you a present. I think, tell me if I've got your correct street address or postal address, so I can send you a small present to that, because I can hardly email it. It's going to be very Australian. I thought about it the other day. So I'll talk to you before your birthday. In the meantime, have a happy build-up to your birthday. You remember that Jesus died and rose again when he was aged 33. We'll trust you're not going to die. But with our mutual love, we will both rise to great heights. See you there. Andressa, take care, my love. Bye-bye.